Sir, good evening, sir. Myself, Dr. Vijayan Gurumurthy Iyer. I'm going to give my presentation on unsafe chromium pollution and control for the environmental plant biology and biotechnological development. The presentation is mainly focus on unsafe chromium pollution. Why unsafe chromium pollution means the chromium pollution that occur beyond the permissible limits of nearly around 20 ppm more than the site areas, especially in Sukinda Valley and the various chromium tanneries in Chennai, Krompete, and chromium processing industries. And this require a lot of biotechnological and biological
Excuse me,
focus.
sir.
Yes, madam.
Can you please put in full screen mode?
Is it okay?
Yes, that's perfect.
I thank Magnus Group LLC Chicago for giving me an opportunity to present my PowerPoint presentation. So my topic is unsafe chromium pollution and control for the environmental plant biology. Not only unsafe chromium, even lead pollution, arsenic pollution in our country. So these have the considerable eutrophication. Eutrophication means excess nutrients, excess, the biological impact assessment and environmental impact assessment, which is a systematic identification and evaluation of the potential environmental effects and environmental health effects of the proposed projects, proposed plans, proposed programs, and legislative actions with respect to the physical environment, chemical environment, biological environment, and cultural as well as the social economical environment of the total environment. So climate change and control, the change in weather conditions over a long period of time, and the variation in the temperature and humidity and other weather conditions that are concerns to control the environmental, the climate change and control, that is called alpha, that is a climate sensitivity factor, 0.5 degrees centigrade per watt per meter squared, 0.6 degrees centigrade per watt per meter squared, and the change in the weather conditions with respect to the net radiating force, that is about 1.5 to 2 watt per meter squared per degree centigrade to 2.5 watt per meter squared per degree centigrade. So why I would like to start with my presentation with the climate change and control. So why I am concerned about this cotton project as well as the chromium pollution. So these have interdisciplinary interaction. So the climate change has considerable impacts. So environmental impact assessment is very important. EIA means it's a systematic identification of the potential, what is the environmental effects like deoxygenation and re-aeration. So for example, deoxygenation means the amount of oxygen reduction in the plant, as well as the re-aeration, the atmospheric oxygen included in the plant, and the amount of BOD, biochemical oxygen demand, COD, suspended solid, nitrogen and phosphorus. The design of the nitrogen and phosphorus BOD, as well as the biochemical oxygen demand of the phosphorus. So they are very important in the design and development of the organic seed cotton. So organic seed cotton means there is no chromium pollution or any kind of inorganic substance that included in the organic. It is totally organic cotton. So here it is organic cotton, and here it is genetically modified, and it's a bollworm affected seed cotton. So when I have been working in CIRCOT, Central Institute for Research on Cotton Technology, Indian Council of Agriculture Research, 2001, this particular bollworm resist seed cotton was introduced in USA Pima cottons, and these Pima cottons was severely affected by the the bollworm resist, and that's why this particular importance of the heavy metals affected. And chromium pollution means, why you may ask, why is this chromium toxic effects you are talking? Because this during the processing of the seed cotton in our country, especially the countries like developing countries like Pakistan, India, Africa. So we use the chrome composite leather clad rollers, which are very important in this particular need to study. The seed cotton means the you can just see this particular type of how this roller has been developed. It's called walrus. The walrus animal skin was used in this cotton ginning process. So the bottom slide you see, this is the roller. This roller is made up of walrus, and the McCarthy principle is holding the fiber and remove the seed from the seed cotton. And during the process, the walrus was used about 200 years before, and the walrus was banned in USA and UK because of the climate sensitivity factor alpha and 0.5 degrees centigrade, because that time itself the climate effect changes this the walrus to become extinct in the world. And nowadays there is no walrus because the human being has been using this particular type of the products which are emanated from the walrus. And so the alternative materials are needed to be investigated by USDA, United States Department of Agriculture, in Mesilla Park. So Mesilla Park, 1970, Gillam, who is a very pioneer in cotton ginning process, has investigated the walrus animal skin and use this in the cotton ginning process. And the study, what it shows in presently in chromium in cotton ginning process, it is nearly around 18,000 ppm to 38,000 ppm, as against the safe limit of 0 ppm. There should not be any chromium in the cotton ginning process, but presently the chromium composite leather clad rollers, which are focused mainly on chromium, and it is due to the dust producing grinding action. Dust producing grinding action, this particular chromium pollution, just see this is the seed cotton, and this seed cotton without any proper EIA, environmental impact assessment process, this has been used in and causes air pollution, water pollution, land effects. And the objective of the study is first to identify and study the environmental problems, especially health. Environmental health impact assessment has been focused. Second one is design and development of eco-friendly rollers, which are used in the cotton ginning process. Now, this is, as I already explained, this is McCarthy principle, holding the fiber and remove the seed from the seed cotton. Since I have been working in CIRCOT for the past 7 years and in cotton ginning process, so I have done a lot of ginning work in for our country, and these are the battery of the cotton double roller ginning machines. See, double roller ginning machines produce about 40 to 45 kilogram of lint per hour. So multiplied by 3, 30% is the ginning percentage. So 30 to 35%, and depends upon the type of cotton and the staple length. 2.5% is staple length of the cotton. Generally 25% to 40% is a ginning percentage. So here it is the 40 kilo of lint per hour, and this is called lint cotton, called white gold. After the seed and remove and the seed cotton removed the lint from the cotton ginning process. Seed is separated. This is called the DCSC 32 Karnataka cottons, and the lint cotton are baled about 170 kilo, 175 kilo lint cotton. They are baled and it is sent to the spinning machines. So spinning mills are separated and ginning mills are separated. They are disintegrated in process. And ginning mills are their agricultural engineering process, and spinning mills are a textile engineering process. They are not both are integrated in our country, but whereas other countries, they have the integrated spinning and the ginning as well as oil mill press. So this is a development how the roller has been developed. So it's called gin roller investigation device. So this particular design of the especially the gin laboratory gin. Laboratory gin is nothing but a gin roller experimentation device. This mainly roller is designed and developed. The roller, why I am focusing upon, it is an important element of the roller ginning process. So main element in the cotton ginning process is only roller. So roller is made up of various eco-friendly and non-eco-friendly methods from the generation to generation. So they are made up of rubber, cotton canvas, then white rubber, black rubber, and the cork, and plastic, coconut coir, Pundarpur washers, chrome composite leather clad rollers, and so on. And this presently, the particular roller is made up of chrome composite leather clad rollers. But in US and UK, they do not use this kind of rollers for this particular presentation. I would like to highlight because they are made up of rubberized cotton fabric rollers. You know how important this white gold as it is considered in the world, and how we are not able to bother about this particular white gold. So we are able to incorporate the very low cost roller in cotton ginning industries. Whereas in the world, especially USA and UK, they don't use this very low cost rollers. They are made up of the rubberized cotton fabric roller, the state of the art materials, which have been already designed and developed, duly investigated in this laboratory model gene in USA, United States Department of Agriculture, Mesilla Park. So this is the chrome composite leather clad roller washers which are used in our country. They are all chrome materials. So if you able to use this particular sample for the atomic absorption spectrophotometer chromium analysis, you will find the chromium is nearly around 18,000 to 35,000, 38,000 ppm, that is parts per million, mg per kg. So this is due to the dust producing grinding action. Here it is a dust producing grinding action. It is continuously beating, and the various kind of chromium particles and contaminate the cotton lint. So this 140 mm to 180 mm, you can just see the how much amount of the chromium pollution, 166, that is having chromium toxicity effects on human organs, especially dermal effects, especially the absorption in the stomach, and lung cancer effects. Three routes how the chromium pollution acts on human being. Number one is dermal. Number two is it is especially lung effects. And number three, cardio. And number three is absorption in the stomach. Esophagus effects, esophagus cancers. Acute as well as, that is called poison number is equal to negative logarithm of lethal dose. 50% test organisms in kg per kg in poison number. So study of chromium based disease as per epidemiological evidences for the acute poisoning as well as chromite effects. And in the ginning point, it's nearly around 51 to 173 ppm. So LD50 and CCLC grooving point. So there are various points at which the samples have been investigated, and the samples are nearly around, ginning point is around 51 to 173. So if you ask what is the standard in international level, means 0.1 ppm. 0.1 ppm is a chromium 3. Chromium 6 is no chromium, because it is a cancer producing effect. It has toxic effect, mutagenic effect, reactive effects, as well as pH is less than 1.5 and pH is more than 13.5. It has considerable ignitability characteristics. That is a hazardous substance we can call. So that is why the chromium 6 should not be there in the cotton ginning process, but due to the unknown reactions, chromium 3 also converted into the chromium 6 during the process. Because during the the Orissa mining, if you see Orissa mining and chromium, why I told the unsafe chromium pollution means due to the unknown reactions, chromium 3 also converted into the chromium 6, hexavalent chromium. So in order to sustain the environmental plant biology and biotechnological development, it is necessary to control the chromium pollution in the site. So this is the roller, how the dust producing grinding that has been continuously wearing, and it has considerable impacts. So environmental air pollution impact assessment, that is the lint cotton has considerable fly ash, or we can call it is a bicinnosis disease occur among the workers working in this particular cotton ginning process. Bicyanosis means chronic, the coughing. Chronic coughing, we can call. It is continuously, it has considerable impacts on the people on the vicinity. And the workers who have physiological and psychological disorders, you can see. And the synergistic effects. So the synergistic effects means P1, P2, P3, P4 pollution. This is synergistic means it is combined action. Bicyanosis and the TB and the pollutants, various kind of pollutants that have effects on P4. It is a synergistic poisoning. Synergistic poisoning means the combined effects during the heating time. See, when the climatic change, why it is considered means climatic and weather impacts. So weather as well as climate both have to be assessed. Only climatic impact assessment is not only enough. We have to also assess weather impact assessment. Why means because climate and the weather both are interdisciplinary interaction, and it's called this particular thing is cross-functional. Functional as well as cross-functional, both are available. So that is why we require to conduct these synergistic effects during the daytime, and during the night time it is dysenergistic, disaugmenting effects. So of the climatic sensitivity factor, alpha is equal to 0.5 degrees centigrade per watt per meter squared, and the net radiating force of nearly around 1.5 to 2.5 watt per meter squared per degree centigrade. So both are inversely proportional. So occupational health worker who is exposed with the bicyanosis disease, as well as with the what is called the various other chromium based disease in the plants. The workers working in this cotton ginning industries, atomic absorption spectrophotometer chromium analysis being done by me in order to find out how much actually the source of chromium is there, and in order to convert to assess the unsafe chromium pollution in cotton ginning industries. Though it is a product, but the product should not be poisonous with this negative logarithm of lethal dose 50% test organisms, which is called poison number. So the various kind of the process which are describing the air pollution, water pollution, the laboratory roller gin investigations, and the eco-friendly methods which are being adopted, which are being tried to incorporate in order to mitigate the sustainable biotechnological development. Sustainable biotechnological means the biotechnological development that should meet the needs of the present generation without compromising the ability and efficacy of future generations to meet their own needs. So that is called sustainable biotechnological development. And the noise pollution study is being conducted and in the site. And the no chrome and chromium pollution rollers both are being investigated.
Sir, please summarize, sir.
Yes, sir. So this is various kind of the treatment technologies. I would like to point out this particular mechanisms. One of the mechanisms is nitrogen removal and phosphorus removal. So for your kind information, that nitrogen and phosphorus removal in the site is not being in our country, whereas nitrogen and phosphorus is advanced nutrient that causes the eutrophication problems, so that need to be treated. But in our country, we don't have the system of removing the nitrogen and phosphorus. This is my another important conclusion to the authorities for the unsafe chromium pollution and control for the environmental plant biology and biotechnological development. Because when the advanced nutrients is being treated in common effluent treatment plants, especially nitrogen and phosphorus, which causes the eutrophication problems, why we are not bothered about the tertiary treatment plants in our country, whereas the USA and other advanced countries are doing this very systematically, the removing the advanced nutrients like nitrogen and phosphorus, sulfur, etc. Why we are not able? We have primary and secondary treatments in our country, nearly around 3,000 plants, and most of the plants are not working also. Primary and secondary both are not working also. So this is a small summary I would like to present before the authorities of the Magnus, so that it will be able to propagate it. Thank you very much.